What's the motherfucking deal? Look, don't call in. Y'all can text in to the Sauce Live. Y'all can get that text action going on. But what's the motherfucking deal, man? Welcome to Sauce Sports. If you're not familiar with Sauce Sports is a Houston, Texas homer network. It means we talking all sports, but only Houston. But today, man, we're gonna get into the conversation about these Texans. First off, you know, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever it is, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. If you're a pagan, celebrating one of them other things, I don't know all the damn holidays. Y'all know what it is, man. Whatever you're celebrating, have you a good one. If you got some time off work, whatever it may be, enjoy yourself, enjoy your family, all that good stuff. And we appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight. But tonight I have a gentleman joining me from the round. Who we got in the mix tonight, man?
It's your boy Spitz, man. And all y'all out there celebrating, go ahead and pull up for Christmas. all right. Don't pull up, man. Take a shot or two for your boy. You know, I'll exactly.
But like I say, man, we're gonna get into a couple of things and just really discussing this team, man. And again, like I said, if y'all don't know, it's all sports, only Houston. But you know, we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to discuss because I think the feelings have changed a little bit around this team. We're going to talk about the secondary, and then we have a secondary situation. We're going to talk about, you know, just the overall feelings about this team tonight. But before we get into that, we got to talk about the most important thing happening in the Houston area. And if you don't know, that is you, Sauce Nation. We got to have a little bit of a Sauce Nation roll call, man. And if you don't know what that is, that means, hey, if you are in the greater Houston area, shout out your side with pride. If you even if you're not, I guess we'll give you a pass for not really being in the city. But even if you're not in the greater Houston area, man, we still got love for you. All you got to do is let us know where you're at. Send a little bit of digital love your way, man. Hope y'all are having a magnificent Monday to go along with that. It's Christmas Eve and all that other good stuff. So like I say, let's see who we have joining us tonight. And then let's get in it to win it after that, man. So I see Quincy Jones, Kenneth Cologne, Southwest, what's the motherfucking deal? Taylor Bates, Bob White Powder, Homicide, nigga, ADI Music, that boy Lowe's, Dope Chef, Gilbert Rodriguez, Third Coast Wink, what's the motherfucking deal? Jason Samuel, y'all still, hey, you still hating, Jason? You just ain't like, you needing everything to go wrong for us for your raggedy ass Titans to get in. Y'all ain't finna do nothing because y'all got Gabbert at the helm with your weak ass. And you tell me, man, I'm gonna get on your ass in just a second. I got to shout out the real Sauce, and then I'm gonna get back on your ass in just a second. 290 shouted, Danny MTZ, my fault. Talking about some DMT, that's a whole nother different thing. Victor Nair told me, what's the motherfucking deal? Big Al, what's the motherfucking deal, man? The name VEAXZ, I don't even know how to say that. Vose, I don't even look. You know what's the motherfucking deal. Shine Real Live, what's the Real Live though? What's the motherfucking deal? Mo City in the house, go DJ already. Omen Kemp, Southside holding it down. Southside still holding. Unique Fashionista. Happy holidays to you too. Look 290. If you finna twist up, you know, hit that boy, hit that 3 or 4 times for your boy. I know I've been on hiatus, you know, but it's all Gucci. 335. Holding it down. Kyle Vernon, what's the motherfucking deal from Cincinnati? Already, man. We nationwide. Texas Outlaws, Maxwell 77, Felix Santana. What's the motherfucking deal? Houston B, Merry Christmas to you too, man. IG Money, what's the motherfucking? I hope I said that right. So here is the deal. This boy just said, like I said, I'm going to get on Jason ass real quick. I ain't even got to get on Jason ass because he sounded foolish. This boy said Colts got shut out by the Colts. They beating themselves. What is it, 18 versus B team? What's really going on? I mean, come on, my dude. Like if you're going to come in here talking trash, at least have your shit together. You over here looking foolish. You know what I'm talking about? I don't want to see no stars, no asterisks and shit trying to change your shit up. So here it is. No, hell no, I'm not talking about claiming no swearage. Like, look, that is not the move, in my opinion. It's not what I'm going to say. Y'all ain't got to worry about that coming out of my mouth. Too many reasons as to why that won't happen. Jason got shut down by Jason. Exactly. But here's my deal. Y'all ain't finna win shit with no motherfucking Gabbert at the helm. Y'all, you came in here the other day talking trash about Watson is injured. How many times has Mariota been injured in his career? And you notice always when a game is on the line or it's an important game or they start getting blown out, somehow Mariota just he can't quite finish the game. What you got there?
You ain't even got to say in his career. How many times he been hurt this year, this season?
Exactly. Exactly. And yeah, so you go ahead and let me know on that, Jason, since you got so much to say. I was going to say you can't trust a nigga with 2 first names, Jason Samuel. What kind of shit is that? Anyway, like I said, we're going to talk about this Texans secondary. We're going to talk about this Texans. We're going to talk about the Texans, period, man. And just kind of looking. But let's start on that note, since you brought it up. Swearinger released, made some comments yesterday, and as soon as I saw those comments, man, I'm like, yeah, they finna let him go because they're not gonna let that type of. No, I don't see any NFL team letting comments like that slide. Basically said, that he put in more work than the coaching staff. He watching more film than the coaching staff, and he was just basically ripping them for. Whatever was going on. I'm going to be honest, man. I know he was having a good season, smelling himself after finally having a real solid season. But if you just look at your career overall, there's a reason why Swearinger has been bounced from team to team to team. What is this, his 4th team? Probably going, if he gets picked up by somebody, be his 5th. I don't see it happening this season, maybe next year in the offseason while teams have some time to evaluate. But I don't see it. I don't see it right now. But what are your thoughts on Swearinger, man, his situation? And, I mean, would you take a look at him on the Texans?
No, because he's not. Our issue in the secondary is coverage, and that's something that Swearinger is horrible at. Swearinger's not good at coverage. Now he's good at coming down, playing that linebacker and the safety, that linebacker safety hybrid, coming down, stuffing the run in the box. But as far as him being coverage with a dominant receiver, no, he wasn't that good when he was down here in Houston. And I actually like Swearinger, but my thing is, it's still him showing his immaturity. You can't sit there. No matter how much you are telling the truth, if you are telling the truth, you have to know you can't call out your boss.
Exactly.
Like you can't be at there and be like, oh, my manager is especially out on social media when everybody can see it, or a press conference when everybody can see it and hear it. If you do that in front, if you show up your boss 9 times out of 10, you gonna get let go. Like that's just. You should have known it was coming before you did. That's just him still showing his immaturity. That's one of the reasons why the Texans let him go, because him and Bill O'Brien bumped heads, and we already know the aftermath and all those type of things. And I think it was a little bit on both sides. Bill O'Brien tried to be the man in charge, trying to bring that whole Patriot mentality down in Houston, and also Swearinger being immature, being late to meetings and things like that, and also just not producing on the field, because a lot of teams will let a lot of stuff go if you're a dominant player on the field. But if you're just an okay player or just above average player, they're not going to let those shenanigans fly.
Exactly. And again, like I say, and it shows, like, it's sad because we talked about it earlier when the Texans faced the Redskins. He had his comments, and you can understand a man who feels a particular kind of way. I'm not going to knock him for that. But the fact that you start going at your own team, your current team, like that shows obviously you have not learned your lesson, like you mentioned earlier. You know what I mean? And so that's the problem. And there's no way that you bring him back after all the shit he talked kind of, this season. That why would you bring him back into the Texans fold? So I definitely don't see that happening.
He called us saying that he flat out doesn't respect Bill O'Brien. So you're not going to bring him into your locker room, like just off of that standpoint. But I wouldn't bring him in just from the X's and O's, because we need someone better in coverage, and that's a weakness for him anyway.
Exactly. So kind of just like I say, looking at what we got and talking about coverage, talking about secondary. And if y'all haven't checked it out, man, make sure y'all go out and check out Spitz's video. He's been dropping some heat lately, man. So make sure y'all go and check it out. The link should be in the description. My thing is this, man. You have made some good points. I know, like I said, because I had actually recently dropped one talking about, the secondary and what was going on. But, people are talking a lot of trash. Nick Foles did this and Nick Foles did that. And he did. I mean, what it is. Everybody gets paid to play. But it was a similar situation with this Texans game yesterday that happened in 2014, and that was Kareem and J. Joe both went out and, basically letting a backup end up beating you, because it was Foles then, but then it was Sanchez coming in and beating us because J. Joe and like I say, K-Jack went out. And now you had, Burton playing heavy minutes, a guy who I didn't even know was on the team, and you had, what I'm saying, like I said, you had a lot of youngsters. You had, the issues with Honey Badger and some of those other things like that. But my deal is, what do you see as really being the biggest problem? Is it overall, because it's not even just that game, with Foles, but if you go back and look at the 2 luck games, and we can talk about the what's the youngster's name? Fucking Baker Mayfield game, even though that was kind of late in the game, but still, that's just an absurd amount of yards to put up regardless. And again, like these quarterbacks being able to put up these big numbers, because we've had several quarterbacks who were close to 400, if not at 400 plus yards on us this season. Is this an overall personnel issue? Do you feel like this is a coaching issue? Like, what do you feel is the root of the problem with this situation with the Texans allowing so many yards to somebody's not even that good at quarterbacks?
Like you said, so it's a lack of talent. It's really what it is. You're really deployed of talent when it comes to that. Jonathan Joseph is like you can tell Jonathan Joseph is just a step too slow. He's not the same J-Joe that we brought in 2011. Now he has his plays. He has played against Alshon Jeffrey yesterday when he got beat, but he still was able to make the tip at the 1 yard line to stop him from getting from that being a big touchdown. Well, he has some splashes here and there, but for a full-fledged game, you can't really depend on him because he's a step slower. And other than that, that's it. Like Kareem is a corner safety hybrid. He's not really a legitimate corner one-on-one in coverage. I know we had this front without JJ back in 2016 when we didn't allow any quarterback to throw for 300 yards, and we played against Manning. We played against Rodgers. We played against Phillip Rivers. We played against Derek Carr at the level when he was playing looking like an MVP. We played against Tom Brady in the postseason. We didn't allow any quarterback to throw for over 300 yards. We had Bouye back then. We had a legitimate shutdown corner. We don't have that right now. So it's really mostly talent. But can Rat get some blame? Absolutely, he can. You can also put some blame on the pass rush because outside that first quarter, the pass rush was really non-existent the rest of that game. JJ was so quiet. Yeah. And I think he was being double teamed and things like that. But he was not. He was like, I think the way he's been playing all year, and JJ's been playing and been looking phenomenal all year long, looking like a defensive MVP type player. But I'm thinking that those injuries at his age is starting to show some, and he doesn't have that same pep in the step yesterday that he did in the previous couple games in the previous season. I think it's starting to take a toll. That's the reason why that bye was so crucial, and I'm still pissed about that because we really needed that rest. Yeah, we need the rest for Clowney. We need that rest for Jay. We need that rest for
Hopkins need that shit.
For Kiki. The only person who seems like who don't need the rest is Deshaun because I think Deshaun wants to play every single day. I think if you give him 7 days to play, like he's the only one who doesn't need the rest right now.
Well, I agree. Like I said, we got so many dinged up injuries. We got so many situations going on, and for a second, talking about all that, man, I want to kind of hop to the other side of the ball, and no pun intended, talking about Hopkins. And you had mentioned something in your video, man, talking about how he didn't quite have that burst, and I agree because it was a play that he made where he beat, I want to say Maddox on the sideline, and he kind of just tiptoed out of bounds. Any other time he'd have turned that upfield, and he was just, but you could tell that he was out there just kind of, making plays as necessary, doing what he was asked, but he really wasn't getting that yak yardage that we're normally expecting to see. We saw the little screen they tried to run with DT went down, and I kind of want to get to that because how important, and I don't think a lot of Texans fans really realized how important DT was, but how important do you think that's going to be going forward, the loss of DT? Do you think Vincent Smith will be a workable talent? And I mean, just ultimately, what are the Texans going to be able to do to try to recover from the loss of another number 2 receiver?
Okay, to answer the first one about Hop, it was clearly that Hop really gutted it out yesterday. Like for him to get those 9 catches for 104 yards, Hop gutted it out. You could tell when he made catches, he didn't even get up the same way. Normally, Hop gets up, and Hop has a certain swag about him. Yeah. When he gets up, it was like he just got up and just went back to the huddle. Like it was like he didn't even have it in him to and that's what you could tell. That's how I could tell that Deshaun's injury last year wasn't that spirit because the way he reacted after he was doing normal things, how he was at the game, he was on the sideline of the Colts game, the way he was talking up with the players, he didn't seem like a player who was down, like, oh, my season's over. Yeah. That's why I knew, okay, he's going to bounce back. The injury's not that severe. It's going to cost him his year, but he's going to play to the full same level. I feel the same way about Will Fuller. I've seen Will Fuller around, and he looks like he's in good spirits. So it doesn't look like he's down. So I think he'll be coming back from the injury just fine. But Hobbs, you can tell he's hurt because even when he's doing regular, normal things, he doesn't look the same. And when he's walking back to the huddle and walking back to the sideline, he doesn't look the same. So that's why it was very crucial for that bye. And when it comes down to us losing DT, I know DT didn't have one like DT was out there getting 100 yards, 2 touchdowns a game, but just the simple threat of him being out there helps frees up frees up Watson and gives another target to Deshaun.
Exactly.
Now you're going to trust an undrafted free agent rookie and Vincent Smith, who only has 2 catches, which that catch that he had Sunday was that was a grown man catch, and then also a guy that you picked up 4 or 5 weeks ago from the Philadelphia Eagles in Deshaun Carter. So you're trusting guys who are not trustworthy. Now, who knows? These guys might end up being the next guys. They might end up being those next niggas. But we don't know that just yet. They weren't high draft picks. They wasn't the guys that we put faith in coming to like Kiki. You know, Kiki wasn't a high draft pick, but they put a lot of faith in Kiki coming into the season. That once he was healthy, he was a full-fledged starter without hesitation. He was in the slot ready when they did the little promos for the Sunday Night Football game against the Cowboys. He was one of the guys that was in the promos. They had him full-fledged, ready for him to be a starter because they had faith in him. They don't have that same faith in Vincent Smith and Deshaun Carter. So, I'll put this: we could be playing in a postseason game. That your receivers are a wounded Hop, a Deshaun Carter, and a Vincent Smith. Those are your 3 receivers. If Kiki doesn't go, and if one of them goes down, you have to throw out Joe Webb as a slot receiver. Your 3rd string quarterback is going to play slot receiver in a postseason game. That's how crucial the injury to DT is. That's exactly why the injury to DT is a big blow.
Exactly. And I think, like I said, I know I've seen a lot of people talking about because he wasn't putting up those numbers. The game is bigger than numbers. It's what your presence commands. And we talk about that a lot with, a lot of things that Clowney does when he's not getting the numbers, he's not getting the statistics. But sometimes Clowney do be a little lackadaisical too. But like you mentioned, and the thing with DeAndre Carter too is that you have to be careful because he's also your return man. And so if something happens with him, now you've lost another major aspect of your game, and you got, Honeyback out there returning kicks or, something like that. Shout out to Gilbert Rodriguez, man. Appreciate the love. Say Merry Christmas, Sauce Sports. Shout out there. Appreciate the Super Saucy Super Chat love, man. But again, like I've heard some names thrown about. I've heard some, some rumors and things. And one of those names being another ex-Texan that we were talking about. We mentioned Swearinger for the defensive side. But a name that's been thrown about, and I'm not super familiar, not sure where he's at or what he's got going on, has been Jalen Strong. Is that something that you would entertain if you were the Texans coaching staff of bringing back Jalen Strong?
Actually, it's funny because I seen a post on Instagram, and I actually mentioned that in my latest video about him. Like I said, I thought that, in my personal opinion, I never thought that Jalen got a true fair shot because he never really got a chance to play with Deshaun. I mean, we seen him his rookie year. He made some plays his rookie. Remember, he's the one who made the game-winning touchdown, our very first win at Indy. He made a crucial first down in the playoff game against the Chiefs, even though we didn't score a point in that game. But that's more so to do with Brian Hoyer being your quarterback, playing with a concussion and throwing 5 picks, more so than Jalen Strong. And then the following year, he had Brock Osweiler. He made 1 catch against the Colts that got you in the field goal range in the overtime comeback win. Then he ended up breaking his foot the next game, so we didn't get no more that season. So we didn't get a chance to see Jalen Strong play with a legitimate quarterback like Deshaun. So I would like to see him play in that game or play with him. But at this point, you just need a body. Because like I said, you are a play away from playing a postseason game with Joe Webb getting significant snaps at receiver. That's not a success. That's not a way for success. That's not a way to win football games, especially in meaningful postseason games where you're trying to do something special. So just on the simple number that you need another body out there, see if you can bring in Braxton Miller or Jalen Strong, just because they familiar with the playbook.
Yeah.
I mean, Braxton Miller was just here this past summer, so there's not that much wrinkles that you probably put in this season. I'm pretty sure you put in some new wrinkles, but he could probably catch up faster if you just picked up. I know I got someone told me, text me, asked me about maybe Jeremy Maclin. Like Jeremy Maclin knows nothing about this offense. So if you did bring in Jeremy Maclin, Braxton Miller and Jalen Strong both with being familiar with this system would know a little bit more than another receiver outside this organization.
Again, and you need as much help as you can get, and so that's why I would agree. Even though, like I said, I've kind of said, when people have talked about Miller earlier in the season, when we let go of Ellington, and we mentioned some other guys, but I would not be opposed to bringing Miller back either, because again, that familiarity is going to put you that much further ahead than just picking somebody else up off the street, because we know Bob likes to do all this extra overcomplication with a lot of shit. And again, like I said, Braxton Miller, and he showed signs of progress, because I believe, is he still on the Eagles practice squad?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. And to my understanding, if they're on the practice squad, another team can pick them up. Like you can pick them up if they're on the practice squad. If they're not activated to the 53-man roster, we could just come in there with no compensation, just pick them up. Now, somebody like Bruce Ellington is actually on the Lions 53-man roster, so he's a no-go. We can't get him. But as far as I don't know where Jalen Strong is. I know last year he did play some snaps and play some games for Jacksonville, but I don't think he's still on that team. So I don't know where he's at. And I think Braxton Miller is still on the Eagles practice squad. And that's even if he's on the practice squad. He might just be a full-fledged free agent.
Okay. Yeah, I think Jalen had either an ACL or I think he had an ACL injury. Because I remember, last I was following him last year, I know he was going through surgery and he was kind of showing his rehabilitation and stuff. And I want to say maybe earlier this year he was kind of showing that he was getting back at it. But I got a question about Vincent Smith. I want to know your thoughts on with him making that big boy catch. Is that a confidence builder? Is that something that makes you say, okay, big play, big situation, in a crucial spot? He came through and he was reliable. We saw them try to run that earlier in the season, and that play failed.
It was a pick. It was a pick versus the Patriots. That was one of Deshaun's interceptions in that Patriots game. He was throwing to Vincent Smith, and I know a lot of people were sitting there screaming, "Why would you throw that pass to Vincent Smith? If it was Hop, if it was Will Fuller, that'd be a more understandable interception." Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was double teamed.
Yeah, he was double covered.
Yeah. So what we do know about Deshaun is that he loves the big play.
Yeah.
He does not shy away from the big play. So if you give him a receiver that is capable of giving him a big play, he's going to take a shot. If a receiver is fast enough to give him a big play, he's going to take the shot. Mm-hmm. So just on that alone, just because he's a faster guy, just because he's capable of doing that, he's able to take a shot. But where have we seen? We haven't for most of the season. Vincent has been inactive.
Yeah,
he's been healthy scratches for the most of the year. Like, remember, we went out to trade for Demaryius Thomas instead of using Vincent Smith to be the full-fledged replacement for Will Fuller. Even though I'm not saying he's Will Fuller fast, but obviously he's faster than both Hop and DT. So we didn't try to use this early. Now we're in the pinch. Now we have to try to use this because we have nobody else to try it out there. But I do think that Deshaun, you give him a receiver, Deshaun's going to try and make a play any way he can. So I think Deshaun has confidence regardless of who's out there. I think me and you could be out there running patterns. He's going to try to give us a shot.
Exactly. And I think they're saying, because I know Vincent had a good time, so they're saying Fuller had a 4.32, Vincent had a 4.36. So just a hair, really, because that's almost whoever's pushing the clock on that one, whoever's thumb is clocking that one in that difference, because I mean that's a fraction.
And speaking of a fast receiver, whatever happened to Wendell Williams?
Man, I don't know. Last I remember, he was with the Jets, and I used to follow him on IG, but I tend to, whenever a player leaves the Texans, I tend to kind of unfollow him. And lastly, I don't even know if he's still in the league. I don't know, what he had going on. He was on some super positive stuff, and I ain't knocking him for that, but I hadn't really seen that much of him, so I don't even know if he's in the league. I don't know if he's still playing or if he's elsewhere. But I definitely remember this dude because he came through. He made a couple of little plays, here and there. But again, never really had options. Like I said, and back on that Strong thing, man, I highly agree with you about him not getting a fair shot, because I was always a fan of Strong, and I wonder if it was the weed thing that they kind of let him go for, in the long run.
But if you think about it, if anything, that we think should be a bold confidence, because he's the one who stepped up and said, "It's me, it's mine." Yeah. He was in the car with I think 2 other NFL players or 2 college players. It was some other athletes. He wasn't the only one, but he's the one who took the rap. So even if he was taking the rap for his homeboy, or if he was just being man enough and be like, "Hey, it's mine. I fucked up," whatever the case may be. To me, even though it was a bad situation, but that just shows that to me that shows me that at least he's man enough to take responsibility when he fucks up.
Yeah, and that's what I say, man. I have no problem because he used to be able to high point the fuck out that motherfucker. That's why I used to like he'll go up there and get that bitch. But again, you say Storm's coming in out of shape every year. Well, I mean, you know, that might have to do a little smoking in the off season. You know, he might have had the munchies just a little bit, but he got right when the season came. But here's my thing, though.
He was a gamer, though. Yeah. He might be in out of shape, but you couldn't deny anytime he was in a game. Yeah. Name a game that he played in. He made at least a big catch or a touchdown every game.
Exactly. And so, like I say, it's going to be interesting just kind of see how it all pans out with Vincent Smith from this point forward, man. But, you know, I'm just looking at a couple of things. We kind of look into the playoffs. You mentioned that earlier, man. Just with these injuries, with these kind of almost no-name guys, you're a play away from, you know, basically, I mean, the situation we saw earlier with Webb running at a slot, and which would be a very unfortunate thing, which is something we definitely don't hope for. I mean, how legitimate do you think that? I mean, looking at the teams that are in the mix right now, how confident would you feel if the Texans fall into a situation like that? Who can the Texans legitimately beat in a situation like that? Because, I mean, they're going to double hop. They're going to shut down. They're going to do their best to shut down hop and try to make you beat them with some no-names. I mean, how confident are you in a situation like that?
I mean, that's what makes the situation extremely dicey when it comes to the receivers. Now, like I say, I think that me and possibly some other Texas fans, I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think we are still kind of somewhat falling victim to Osweiler. I think that it's somewhere in the back of our minds, we are still falling victim to the year we seen with number 17 playing football, because I have the full-fledged confidence. Yes, they just erased any type of doubt I've ever had. I have full-fledged confidence when number 4 is out there throwing that rock. That I think he can make some no-name receivers play legitimate. Now, I don't know how much he can do with Joe Webb, but that's neither here nor there. I'm thinking with Vincent Smith and Kiki and all these other guys that he can possibly make something, maybe do something with the tight ends. We're going to have to see more tight ends. We're going to see more Jordan Thomas. We're going to see more Ryan Griffin. We're going to see more tight ends, 2 tight end sets, things like that, more max protection. We're going to see more of these type of things since we're so deployed at receiver. Because we're going to need Deshaun to pull every single magic trick he can to win games. And that's what you're going to need when it comes to the postseason. Because, to be honest, like I said the last time I was on here, like last Sunday and then this week right here, just let us all know that we know absolutely nothing about football, because this is a week, like you said, this is a week-to-week league. Anything can happen today. What was valuable today is not going to be valuable next Sunday. I mean, we seen the Colts get shut down by Jacksonville, and then the next week Jacksonville gives up 38 points to the Titans, and the Colts go out there and score 38 points on the Cowboys. Like we see, like this means absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. Each week means absolutely nothing going into the next following week. So it's all about matchups and trying your best to exploit these matchups and hoping that your players are the best player on that particular Sunday.
Okay, and that's very interesting that you said that, because now, you know, they didn't put Bortles back in the lineup. You know, he's going to want to try to audition for a team somewhere, because they're not expecting to bring him back next year. And so he's going to go out there and try to play the best game that he's played, you know, in ever, probably, especially against the Texans. You're talking about a division leader right now. He's going to go try to make a name for himself. So we can't expect the Jags just to go in there and lay down, because that's not going to happen. Or come here to Houston and just lay down, because it's not going to happen. And again, if you're in a situation where you only have Hop, the Jags still have a solid enough secondary to try to limit Hop and his production. And then you got some guys, like I said, we just don't have that type of confidence in at this time. Again, we may be proven wrong. Hopefully Kiki is good to go, because I think, you know, I know people saying we'll save him just for the playoffs, but you still need to get a little bit more experience, because we got to account for the fact Kiki is still a rookie, you know, no matter what. So if he's healthy enough to go, he needs to be able to go to get a little bit of experience going into the playoffs, not just to get thrown into that scenario and have all these expectations for him. But I feel a lot more confident if he is available. You know what I'm saying? He said they're going to let him go to fight. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So he's going to be out there trying to play, because you can't ever account. Again, like I say, the Jags got a lot of stuff going on. They've talked about, you know, reworking a lot of stuff, you know, maybe letting some guys go. So all these guys are going to be out there playing to get noticed. All these guys are going to be out there trying to get a little bit of shine. And again, this is the last game of the year, and you got to understand, these guys enjoy playing the sport. So they know that they're not going to be playing for anything else. This is their playoff game. This is, you know, it for them. This is their Super Bowl. So you can't expect anybody just to come in there and lay down regardless of what the record is. You know, I think people kind of had that same feeling with the Eagles, oh, well, they're just, they're such and such, they're so-and-so. But they felt rejuvenated when Foles came back in the lineup. They felt like it was a miracle, or it was another repeat of the Super Bowl scenario that they had last year, that they were going to get revitalized. And they came and they played hard. Now, I think some things that happened to us fell in their favor. But ultimately, it is what it is. These guys are all pros. These guys are all, getting paid to play the game. They all have something to play for. So here's the deal. Give me a second. I'm gonna start. Let me get it together real quick. I'm gonna get the sauce line booted up and activated. I know y'all gonna have some thoughts. I know y'all gonna want to call in on this Christmas Eve. Again, like I say, I hope y'all are all doing fine, doing dandy, and get everything that y'all want. Be sure to make sure we'll be going live in the Den at 10 tonight. If you're not familiar with the Den, make sure you subscribe to that channel. We'll be talking about something interesting. I ain't gonna tell y'all quite yet what we're talking about, but got a couple interesting topics in mind. So we will have a Den tonight, and I may do something for the Mixer crew tonight too. So because I owe y'all a couple of stories that I hadn't been sharing with y'all in the Mixer crew. So we'll probably get to some of those tonight. But again, like I say, looking at all these things, just kind of my big deal. And like I say, I was talking about Cornell earlier, and with this team, and you say you feel more like it's a personnel issue. I feel like, I'm looking at it because I felt like we've done more with less. And, maybe it's not the secondary is maybe not the greatest. But I think that you got to look at this is the first year that Kareem has really played to the level that he's played. Other years, you've looked at him more as a liability. Fans have looked at him more as a liability. J.J. has always been, constant and consistent. And so, yeah, he slowed down a bit. But I'm just looking at this team. I'm looking at the talent to me on this defense and what we felt like coming into this year. I feel like they've underwhelmed. And part of it is I feel like that pass rush is not getting home. And something that and the reason why I talked to the video earlier, I think that Cornell may be, up for him, because I think it's obvious to everybody. I feel like this team would be a much better 4-3 defense than a 3-4 because the talent is there. The talent is there, and you've heard rumors about, Merciless kind of complaining about his role. You see Clowney dropping in coverage, and I think that's something that's affected his stats a lot of people don't account for. There's no reason that Whitney Merciless shouldn't have his hand on the ground. There's no reason that Clowney shouldn't have his hand on the ground. You move Watt in that interior. You have JJ. You have JJ. You have Reader in the interior. You got a couple other guys, who can play inside. And then you have Cole. You have Cunningham. To me, Cunningham, I always thought he was going to be an outside guy in the first place because of his just overall athleticism. And we've seen, how he stepped up his coverage this year. Cole has always been pretty quality in coverage, regardless of the risk situation. And you have McKinney. Man, shout out to McKinney, because McKinney played a great game. Last game, he had a nice deflection, went up and got that. I didn't know he had no hops like that. Every time he played center in high school, and then once he had INT too. So
yeah.
And so the thing is, McKinney's been stepping it up a notch. I feel like that, to me, in my opinion, you bring in somebody who was a 4-3. I feel like that's kind of action. How do you feel about that? Or even if Cornell could adjust to a 4-3, what are your thoughts on that situation with that defense? Would you feel like that would bring more, if you're bringing 4 guys, that would kind of put passers under pressure, make it less susceptible for this secondary to get victimized?
If we ran a 4-3, you definitely maximize the ability of Clowney. You definitely maximize the ability of Clowney, and then you also probably get the maximum out of Merciless as well. But the person who will suffer in that 4-3 would be JJ. Like JJ wouldn't be the same player. Like JJ would definitely be more of a run stuffer than a pass rusher. That means he'll be moving the inside. He'll be more of a DT instead of being a DN. So that's the person who I think who would suffer the most from that change. But both Clowney and Merciless would benefit from that.
Okay. But my thing is because I look at it like this, man. I've seen, and this is not a knock on JJ. Again, he's been the most productive player that we've had so far. But I've noticed a little bit of a trend. It seems like that's where JJ gets most of those whips. When a guy who can be somewhat mobile kind of gets outside of him, JJ kind of gets beat often. I've seen it significant several times this year. Like I said, I don't know if it's maybe injuries catching up or whatever it is. Him playing outside of his capabilities. I'm not saying his capabilities, but just kind of playing over the top maybe. But I've seen it several times this year. Quarterbacks kind of get a little bit outside of JJ, and he misses tackles, and they're able to scramble for a little bit extra yard. Even guys that aren't necessarily super mobile. That's why I say I wouldn't be too opposed to him in the interior, and I think he would cause a lot of havoc because what you're going to have is with Merciless and Clowney on that outside, you're going to be pushing quarterbacks up in that pocket. I can see JJ still eating because, again, they're going to run him basically right up into him. But, like, I can definitely agree with you. His overall numbers, the sack numbers and things like that will decline. Let's take a couple of these texts, and then we're going to open up this sauce line and take some calls. So, again, after we read these, this is number 832-639-DRIP, 3747, 832-639-DRIP, 3747. Asma says, most teams are drafting offense in first round, so we'll have a good chance at a top-notch lineman. Draft another one in the second after a corner, then we go back to corner, lineman, and wide receiver. That'll be interesting because I know we've talked about tackles. And I got a shout out to J&J Sportscast, shout out to Ray, because he did a video the other day on linemen, and I'm not just super familiar with all the linemen, but he was saying yesterday, not a lot of good left tackle talent out there, right tackles more so, but says not a lot of good first round left tackle talent coming out of this draft. So that'll be interesting to see how that pans out because we will be drafting a little bit later in the first round. But it's good to have that first round pick back. I will say that because I think we definitely missed it this year. Let me see. Okay, that was from yesterday. My fault. So shout out to Asmel. Chandler says, shout out to Honcho and Spitz. What's the motherfucking deal? Chandler, always appreciate the love.
What's the deal?
I was doing the NFL draft playoff machine on ESPN. There's a chance we might actually get a bye week. In order for that to happen, the Raiders have to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And then the Chargers have to lose to the Broncos. New England will get the number 1 seed, and we get the 2 seed. Man, anything is possible, and this is what I'm telling y'all, man. Don't count anything out because I told y'all a couple of weeks ago it's quite possible for the Chiefs to lose out because we've seen it year in and year out. If we're going to go kind of with the historical actions of the Texans, let's be honest, the Chiefs always start off super hot every year. Everybody's talking about this is their year. And I'm not saying this year is a little bit different because they sustained it a lot longer than most years. Usually they go about 5-0, 6-0 or something like that and then kind of fall off. But you saw what happened with them last time versus the Raiders. The Raiders were a touchdown away. The Raiders put up 33 on them. You know what I mean? And so it'll be very interesting to see what happens. Let's not just count that out of the realm of possibility. Now, the Chargers and Broncos situation is a bit different. I think that's less of a likelihood, but again, anything can happen. Don't count anything out. So,
I mean, I was under the impression because I knew we still alive for the 2 seed because we don't even need all we need to get the 2 seed is to win and then also get the hope the Jets beat the Patriots, which I mean that's a tall order, but crazier things have happened. Mm-hmm. We get we slide back into the number 2 seed. There's still a chance to even get the number 1 seed if the Chiefs. I think if the Chiefs lose. If the Chiefs lose, the Chargers lose, and the Patriots either lose or the Patriots have a tie, we can still get the number 1 seed, which is still crazy. But hey, or if the Patriots tie, we get the number 2 seed as well. So, I mean, it's a lot of still scenarios out there. Like, nothing is clinched. Yeah. I mean, we can end up being the 1 seed, or we can end up being the 6 seed next Sunday. So a lot of different things can happen. The most important thing is you got to take care of business. Yeah, exactly. We can't worry about what's going on in Jacksonville, and I mean not Jacksonville, but in Indy and Nashville. We can't worry about what's going on in New England or in Kansas City or in San Diego / LA, whatever you want to call it. We can't worry about none of that. What we have to worry about is handling our business and making sure that we beat Jacksonville because, like you say, Jacksonville's playing hungry. And not only that, no matter when we play Jacksonville, dating all the way back to 2002, no matter if the Texans were good, the Jags were good, we always played them tough. It's always been tough out, no matter who's good and who's bad. Both teams can be good, both teams can be bad. There's always been a tough matchup, so we can't take that game lightly. They still the number 6 defense in the NFL.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I see somebody saying what was crazy was the Steelers falling off. And I told you about the Steelers early on. Once they struggled kind of with the Browns earlier in the season, then once Connor went down for a little bit, even though they had old buddy come in and make a little bit of noise, like the fact that they struggled with the Jags, the fact that they struggled with Denver, And it was another team. They got beat by the Raiders. I mean, I tried to tell people the Steelers weren't not it. They were, living off that old name, and a lot of people were kind of living off that old hype from the Steelers. I didn't have faith in them a bit. You listen to other people, and trust me, I bet they'd be happy to have some of these close wins, some of these other things, because they went down to the wire with some of these teams they probably shouldn't have. And it is what it is. And that fucking Saints game was solid. That was a heck of a game, man. But again, so it is what it is. I'm not really tripping on the Steelers either way. Not a team that we've faced very well, but it is what it is. Like I say, last year we had a bunch of injuries, so we ain't tripping on that. Ashman says Texans need the Titans to win because this team not ready for the Colts. Any other team we can beat in the AFC because they have no defense. Man, if DT was healthy, I'd say bring on the Colts because I'm not necessarily afraid. I mean, because the way it looks, the Colts came down here. The first game, we had the Colts. And again, that's why I say I was upset with Cornell because we basically let them back in the game. We had the Colts. That should have been a handy victory. But we let them get back in the game late. Luck started catching fire. It is what it is. This game, we had a chance to get back in it, and it's not to say that it was all Clowney's fault, but yeah, it was a very noticeable play at a crucial time. And I know people say, "Oh, see, he did it in the Colts. He did it against the Eagles." I have no problem with. I have a problem with the referees calling that against Clowney because you saw that exact same hit happen in the Steelers game. And there were no flags. Same fucking hit. I want to say it was on Roethlisberger, and no flags.
To be honest, it was a makeup call because they did not call that face mask on him on the 2-point version, which really was a face mask. It should have been called, but they did not call that. So since they had to give Nick Foles that call because if you notice, they would give Deshaun all his calls. Like anytime they would give Deshaun all his quarterback hit calls, and they felt the pressure. They felt that they need, especially the way Nick Foles. Like if Clowney would have hit Nick Foles the exact same way, and Foles would have got up, nothing's called. But because the way Foles laid there, and they were like, well, damn, we didn't give him that face mask. Let's go and give him this one.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree with you on that. Because if you want to be more mad about something and just being honest about it, the JJ call was a bigger point swing than what would have happened with that face mask or that other situation. Because, you're right there. They was in the red zone, if I'm not mistaken, or right there in it. What was that, a 3rd and 8 or something like that? It was a 3rd and long, I want to say, with the JJ situation. Or it might have been a 3rd short. I remember it was a 3rd down, I believe. And, he gets the roughing the passer penalty, which I thought was suspect on that too. Let's just be honest. But, let's not just pour all the blame on Clowney because, again, that was a situation. You get a stop right there. You're talking about a different outcome to this game because that went from what would have been a 3-point thing to a possible 8 points. So, it is what it is. But here's the deal. Sauce line is open, man. Hey, if y'all want to call in, Jack, I want to hear what y'all got to say. I want to hear y'all's thoughts. I want to know what y'all feeling about these Texans. I want to know what y'all feeling about the defense. I want to know what y'all feeling about the possibilities for this team. And like I say, we'll get a couple of calls in. We ain't going to go super late tonight, man, so get your calls in, man. Let's make it shake. Let's make it happen. And see what y'all talking about. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling in the Sauce line this evening?
It's your boy, Roman.
Roman, what's the motherfucking deal, man? What you want to drop on the Sauce line tonight?
Man, but first of all, I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody in the Sauce Chat, Sauce Nation. What's up to you, Honcho, Spit? I love your videos, man. Keep going. Just happy holidays to everybody. I'm going to say that number one. Let's just talk about these Texans now. Now, I'm looking at the schedule, and, I was watching Mr. Mediocre, and, I think he is. He another Texans YouTube. I like his video.
Yeah, I fuck with Mr. Mediocre.
And, yep. And, I'm just looking. Okay, well, let's say we're at third right now, right? We would either play basically the Colts or the Titans. We need the Titans because we know we can beat the Titans. Even with this squad, I know we can beat the Titans because they ain't consistent. They don't go nowhere. Colts is a different game. But even with that, I still think we can beat the Colts because you know what? It's half-half. Who wanted more? And I still think we're a hungry team. Even what we have seen from Vincent Smith and what we've seen from DeAndre Carter, man, I can tell they're hungry. They want to win. They are not no wide receivers that's just going to not try hard. I respect a man that tries their best, even if they don't do the best at everything. And I see a fight in them. That's what they gain my respect for. I see them saying they're ready to play. They're ready to go down. So I'm looking at, let's say we play the Titans. I think the Titans is a dub. I say we go to New England and play the Patriots. I know this is a bold prediction. I still think we can beat the Patriots. Patriots is not the same. They ain't the New England Patriots. I still think we have an upper hand. Let me tell you, when you have DW4 as your quarterback, anything is possible. Crazier things have happened. Okay? Let me tell you something. Do you think the Eagles thought they was going to win when Nick Foles was the quarterback last year? Nah, man, they thought it was done. Hell, I thought it was done. But look, they went on a great magical run, and they won the championship. Don't count us out and say that can't happen to us. Yeah, we have a depleted O-line. Yeah, secondary is not hot. But damn, anything is given on any given Sunday. Okay? The Jets could win. The Chiefs could possibly lose out. The Chiefs ain't looking hot. I saw that Seattle game. Seattle was whooping their ass all over the goddamn place. Seattle ain't no bitch. You know, so the thing is, anything can happen on every given Sunday. So we still have a possibility. Now, this is what the Houston Texans need to do. Capitalize on that. But y'all said it best. Y'all said it best. All we can do is think about winning. So our main goal is to not be super optimistic and think, oh, this could possibly happen. No, what your ass need to do is go over to NRG Stadium and put the beat down on them Jags. You said it best. The Jags ain't no bitch. The Jags is going to pit their full effort to beat us because they're the Jacksonville Jaguars. They are a division rival. They hate us. They still pissed off that we beat them at home and we embarrassed them. And they was looking eye at that time. They're still mad about that. So plus Blake Bortles is back. You know he going to try to prove himself. See that he has somewhat of worth. So the game is going to be intense. And you got to think about it. We got to win this game to even we're in the playoffs, but we got to win this game to win the AFC South, man. And I think we deserve that. Like, yeah, we get in the playoffs, but we on a 9-game win streak and don't win the AFC South. You know how embarrassing that is? That's embarrassing, man. And that team, we need that. We need that to show, damn, look at it. This 10-game, well, let's say we win against Jacksonville. This 11-win season is something is that, look, we was at a possibility to get second seed. We got the championship, win the playoffs. Be proud of that. And I think we need to win it. So, I think the thing is, and then our secondary, I don't know, man. I'm just looking at the secondary. I got to hear the same what I've been saying, man. It's just, we got to try our hardest. It's the next man up. If J. Joe is not ready, if Kareem's not ready, it's the next man up. That's all we can do. You go out there and prove the hardest you can. I'm just saying, the possibility of us winning a championship is not over. You know, what Houston Texans fans, I know I'm going a little long, but after this I'm done. What Houston Texans fans need to stop doing is, as soon as we lose one or two pieces, we're done. We're done. It's that. It's time to panic. Damn. You know, I don't like Cowboys fans, but I give them one credit. It don't matter how bad that team is. They still think they're going to win the championship. And I respect Cowboys fans for that. And I don't like Cowboys fans. I got family that's whole Cowboys fans. And I can't stand them. But you know what? I respect them for that. Always believe in your team because it's a possibility that shit can goddamn happen. You never know. So like I said, all I say is go out there, prove your hardest, and I think we're going to be all right. I still think we can win championships. Until we are eliminated for the playoffs, you ain't counting me out about my Texans. So like I say, one more thing. I want to apologize for going too long on the pregame, man. I was going too long. My ass was like, it was a pregame. I think it's a postgame. I'm going long. But my fault, man. I got to apologize for that.
Man, you all good on your trip.
Like I say, man, Merry Christmas to all. Good to hear you, Spitz. Good to hear you, Honcho. And y'all just have a good Christmas, man.
Already, man. Appreciate the call, Roman.
Already.
Anytime, man.
Already. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling in on the sauce line?
Hey, it's your boy Josh again, man.
Josh, what's the motherfucking deal? What you want to drop on the sauce line tonight, man?
All right, man. But as far as this game, man, with me, it's like, and I'm trying like so hard, like as a Texas fan, because me growing to watch this team for a very long time, it's like, and even like I know, like I listened to your last video about how Romer Cornell did what he did, and this is what I tried to bring up yesterday, and this is why I was like kind of on the fence, Romer Cornell like being here and being back, because I was just like, I don't know if the defense, and thank that you brought the numbers up. I don't even know if the defense got better or worse on the Vrabel than it is Cornell. Like, and usually if there's a constant between coaches, is it like scheme or is it pretty much coaching? And I just think that, man, this defense can play like a whole lot better, man. But these injuries, man. I mean, I mean, it's hard to win a game in the NFL, but when you have players consistently go down like Webster kid, I don't count because he go down every 2 seconds. But I just never seen a team so injury prone in my life, man. Like in any sport. Like I don't know if it's like bad luck with Houston. I don't get it. But in terms of this like Jacksonville game, I mean, I'm not worried at all. Like honestly, man, I feel like we play. I'm gonna just keep it like this. If we play the players that we come in and come out with, and no one's hurt, I feel like we win this game. It's not even all that close. Like, just due to the fact that who we got at quarterback, who they got, and I feel like this team gonna play up to the task at home, honestly. And as far as going into the playoffs, man, if we play the Colts, if Kiki plays, I give us a great shot to win that game as well. Even the Patriots as well, because the Patriots, they not the same as well. They ain't seen Kiki. They ain't seen. I mean, they ain't seen Deontay Foreman this season as well. They ain't even seen a healthy Deshaun Watson this season as well. And the Patriots don't have no deep receiver as well. So, I mean, like, what happens? And I still have faith in this team, man. Cause we ain't got that boy Deshaun Watson. I mean, like I seen this man spend 3 sacks and throw a jump pass to a tight end. So I see what I need to see out of this man. So. Still believe in this team, man.
All right. That's what's up, man. You should always keep the faith, man. Appreciate the call, Josh.
All right, man.
Already. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling on the sauce line this evening?
What's good, Honcho? This is Vince.
Vince, man, what's the motherfucking deal, man? How you doing, Vince? Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff. What you want to drop on the sauce line this evening?
Man, happy holidays to everybody, to you and everybody in the chat, man. And my question to you, man, I just wanted to know, is there possibly anybody else out there, like a veteran receiver that could be added for depth on this roster? Like, I mean, anybody, even from I don't know, from Jeremy Maclin, somebody. Is there anybody else out there that could be added, or is there just nobody left?
Man, I'm gonna kind of allude to what Spitz kind of mentioned earlier, man, is like with bringing in a veteran, the way Bill O'Brien runs this offense, because he, you know, the routes are based on defense, you know, expecting guys to adjust. I think it's a little bit much for some of these guys to pick up maybe some guys who have been in this offense prior. And I know the name Jalen Strong has come up a lot, and I know we mentioned Miller earlier. And again, Miller looked like he had improved, you know, but I think we'd be
talking about Braxton Miller?
Yeah, Braxton Miller, yes. And I think that puts us in a better position, a guy that has been in-house already, that has a little bit of an understanding of the way Bill O'Brien operates and has a little bit of familiarity with the playbook, as opposed to bringing in somebody completely new and then expecting them to just kind of, you know, pick it all up. Because I think that kind of put us a little bit behind the 8 ball.
Yeah. And another question I want to ask you, man, too, like I said, if they don't bring Romeo Crennel back, man, who do you think would be the next best that it could be out there? I mean, does anybody come to mind that could fill in that everybody likes?
Man, that's a good one. I honestly, even though when I don't have anybody specifically in mind, and again, it's especially as far as available. You know, I have to see, because I know a couple of guys are getting fired. I know, you know, after this week we'll know some more information. But it'll be pretty interesting to see what happens. But I can't give you somebody off the top of my head. I don't know if maybe Spitz would have somebody in mind, or if he's
yeah. Because I was trying to think, but I can't think right off the top of the head either. So that's why I was wondering. So
somebody with a legitimate secondary that maybe they can coach some guys up.
Mm-hmm. I know people have mentioned old buddy from the who was with Seattle, giving him a shot. Somebody had mentioned him a while back, who's with Seattle, who's with the Cowboys now, I believe. I think he's the secondary coach for the Cowboys. I can't remember his name. I know somebody had mentioned him. If we're talking about guys who have solid secondaries, that might be
so
interesting.
Like Cannelli or something like that. I forgot his name.
Man, don't let me lie to you. Don't let me lie to you.
Yeah.
But I think he would be a first-year guy, so that'd be pretty interesting to see how that would work out. But as far as that, I don't have somebody just immediately in mind. Chris Richards. Okay, that was his name. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the name. I think they said Chris Richards. Yeah, from he was with Seattle with the Legion of Boom. And Vance most likely going to be fired. That'll be an interesting one too, because he was here, but I don't know about their relationship with O'Brien after he called him a stupid motherfucker earlier this year. So
the guy from Seattle, was that when you talking about like Ken Norton?
No, it was Chris Richards. Because I think he was over the secondary.
Oh, Chris Richards. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, Yeah, look, I see y'all talking about advance, but yeah, like I said, I have to do a little bit more research, see who's available, who's going to be opening up. Excuse me, and I'll definitely have by tomorrow's stream, I'll have an answer for you on that one.
All right, that's what's up.
All right, bet that. Appreciate you calling in, man.
I hate looking forward into next season because I hate to feel like a Cowboys fan.
Man, what? And I'm a person like that too. I don't really like looking too far ahead. I like to take stuff. That's why I say I don't really like jumping to the draft super early. I really don't like doing all that. But just if we just talking about a hypothetical replacement, I'll come up with something. I'll go out the rest. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling on the sauce line this evening?
What up? Is that, bro?
Ask Mel, what's the motherfucking deal, man? What you want to drop on the sauce line tonight?
Not much, man. I mean, I'm with you on the whole. Maybe Cornell's a little too old. Maybe he's lost the touch. I'm with the. I don't know if they necessarily want to fire the guy, or just keep him on the staff like they've done before, and then bring a defensive coordinator. The only problem I got with that is the same problem that we have getting an OC here. I think O'Brien's so stuck with what we call the Patriot way that, like, for instance, what I found interesting is there's obviously rumors that the Texans are looking to get an offensive coordinator, especially with all the stuff that O'Brien has to juggle. And we obviously can tell on the sidelines that he needs help. Yeah. That as soon as he starts saying things like that, all of a sudden this I forget his name. I think Richard Hyde or something like that. But he used to be offensive coordinator for the Patriots years ago. And so, like, I'm okay with it, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, but what are we doing? I mean, he taught. I think he was a coach in Notre Dame. But ultimately, it's like, what Richard Hyde, I think his name is. I'll text it if once I get it right if it's wrong.
Nope.
But basically, he's coached like years ago in college, so it's like, yeah, he has the college experience, but so did O'Brien. And so it's like, if we're looking for a young gun to come into, the Texan organization and maybe lit a fire under this defense, that's great and all. Especially when you look at the coach, defensive coordinator, like they're already saying that him as the defensive coordinator, they're already going to have open head coaching jobs for him, and he's only been a defensive coordinator for a year. So it's like, it's crazy that so many of these teams get these coaches and they land these coaches, and it's like we just keep rotating the wheel expecting something new to happen, and it's like that's the definition of insanity. But yeah, man, I'm with the whole let's replace Cornell if it's gonna help this defense light a fire under their ass, but ultimately, right now, where we stand, we're not going to hire one right now for the playoffs. That's not going to happen. Yeah. We all know that. So it's like, to me, it's like, what can we do to fix it? Because it looks like it is going to be the coach coming into NRG. And what you thought was going to be an easy game to get to play either Brady or Brady come to your house and play you, now it's already looking like, maybe it's going to be a dogfight. So my thing is, Kareem has been very silent. And when he was making noise, you had him at safety. Yes, does that limit Justin Reed a little bit? Yes. Does that limit Hall a little bit? Yes, it does. But the way that Kareem had that defense lit up when he was making plays on safety, I think was more impactful than what we see now making, Reed being out there the whole time or Howell being out there the whole time and then having Kareem at corner. Now, the thing about that is that we're short at corner. So it's like, so what do? You put Colvin out there with Sharice Wright, and the Webster thing is like annoying. We give him this time. I think even O'Brien today was annoyed during his press conference because he's like, he's battling to try to come back, and ultimately it felt like he wanted to say like, ultimately your health is your wealth, and it's like if we can't count on you, it's like why do we even have you on the roster when we could have just had someone else. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do, man. I know they know it. They obviously come out and say it. They know they've been getting torched. They know it's something that they need to fix. But now it's crazy that you also have to focus on the wide receiver, portion of it. It's just crazy, man. Like they wasted all these weeks trying to save these players and not get them hurt. From the point of getting someone else, to make them eat healthier and know how to work out and treat their bodies to the point where it's like, damn, you did all that and it was working out, and then all of a sudden, boom, I mean, people will say, people that argue Des Bryant was with an Achilles injury too, So it's like, if we would have got this Bryant, probably the same thing would have happened, and now with DT is like, as old as he is, like, can he come back from that? Foreman, to me, it's like, they waited too long to start giving Foreman snaps, and they wanted to make sure that he was ready for action on the field. But it's like you can't be ready until you're actually out there and then make adjustments to your body and know what you need to work on. And they didn't give him, I don't think they gave him enough opportunity to see those things. You could have easily played him with the Jets and see what you could have done, with him there. And it's just, it is what it is now. But they just got to figure it out, man. To me, and I think a lot of you guys said it, if he goes out on the wild card, it's a failure of a season, man. I mean, you got to get to the divisional round, at least to the Patriots. You get to the divisional round with the Patriots, they know it, we know it. We're probably gonna end up beating them. But it's kind of like now we gotta have the Colts in our way. Whoever wins out of the Texans, the Colts, I feel like it, unless the Titans upset it, which I'm praying the Titans upset the Colts. Is going to end up getting to the AFC Championship on this side of the bracket. So, anyways, yeah, man, that's pretty much all I had. It'll be interesting to see what they do as a defensive coordinator. I don't know if the Falcons, Quinn, they'll keep him as head coach. To me, shoot, if anybody can get a defense going and play like some freaking dogs out there, it's that man. And I don't know if O'Brien's open to hiring a guy like that, but we'll see, man.
Okay, all right. We appreciate the call, Asmel. All right, here's the deal. Gonna have to be a little bit of a shorter sauce this evening. So, like I say, I appreciate everybody calling in. I know still some more folks calling in, want to call in and get the calls in, and I apologize for everybody we weren't able to get to tonight, but gotta cut it a little bit short. But here's the deal: we will be live same time mañana. Look, I told you 7 days a week. Look, the holidays don't stop that. We will be in the den at 10 this evening. So again, if you're a part of that, make sure you fuck with that. Make sure you go subscribe to the Den channel. We'll be having an interesting conversation tonight. Y'all can call in on tonight's topic in the Den also. Like I say, we're similar to the sauce. So if you like having good conversation, make sure you fuck with that. Mr. Spitz, definition of throw, man. You got anything you want to say before we get up out of here?
Shit, man. Appreciate everybody coming out here and watching us for a quick little hour. I know y'all probably got to get back to your family and friends. And like I say, pour that drink up for Crimmer. But shit, I got some plays I got to do. But appreciate everybody out there. And like I said, man, I know it was last night was a tough game, but like I said, like the future's bright with this kid. And like I said, I hate to look into the future because I want to see it now. Yeah. But it is a very exciting time. Oh, and anybody out there that has an IG, follow your boy, Spitz389_. That's Spitz, SPITZ 389 and the underscore. Follow your boy on Instagram. Holla at me.
Already. Again, what's that? Spitz389_. Make sure you show Spitz some love, man. Follow him on the IG. And make sure, like I say, links should be in the description below. Make sure you follow his channel, man. Spitz is always dropping heat. Great Texan conversation, man. Make sure you tune it in. If you ain't caught the latest videos he done dropped yesterday and today, man, make sure you get on that ASAP. But man, with that being said, I just want to say thank y'all, Sauce Nation. Again, I hope everybody's having a good holiday. Appreciate everybody who showed some super saucy, super chat love. And again, like I said, it's a little bit shorter tonight, but we'll be back at it mañana. Tune into the Den tonight. We'll have a good, interesting conversation. And, enjoy your family, man. Y'all be safe out there. If y'all going to be out in the streets, on the road, whatever you're doing, man, take care of yourself. Hey, Sauce Nation, love y'all, appreciate y'all, and all the support. But again, like I say, with that being said, y'all the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the world. Most of all, y'all stay saucy. That's a live ass hat right there, man. Hold up, man. Hold up. But y'all stay saucy. And we up out this bitch, man. Appreciate y'all.